Welcome back, traders and investors. We have Lydia Finkley on the line with us here. She's a Forex trader and author of faithmight.com. Lydia, how are you doing this morning?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on. Good to be with you guys.
Yeah, it's nice to get, we talk stocks and options and futures all the time. It's certainly nice to get a Forex trader on. Give us a little bit about your market background, your education, and talk about your site, faithmight.com.
Well, I started my trading career with in equities, and I moved to forex about 7.5 years ago. I trade exclusively the pound sterling, and so with forex it's currency pairs. So my favorite pair is the pound dollar, and the euro pound. Those I trade almost exclusively. Then I also trade pound against the Australian dollar, the Kiwi, New Zealand dollar, the Canadian dollar, as the opportunities arise.
What's
But
your
I'm
time frame
strictly a
on your
sterling trader.
What's your time frame on those, Lydia, on these trades?
Daily charts. So I'm a swing trader, swing position trader. Daily charts, and I use the 4 hour and the 1 hour for timing, or entries and exits, but mostly the daily and the weekly.
And how you saying you trade the pound against all these other currencies too? So are you looking at
hmm
them all in relationship to each other and trying to take advantage of some arbitrage opportunities in there? Or are you just looking purely technical trading?
Mostly technical trading. I try to trade the charts in and of themselves, but sometimes you can take you can look at the crosses against the pound dollar and kind of see the cross trades when the dollar is weak against across the board, then you tend to see the pound moving higher just on those capital flows, but mostly just technical trading.
And how do you handle that? Because the currencies are basically open all the time. I mean, obviously you can't be at your screens all the time. I believe you
Right.
can't enter stops in those markets. So I mean, just from like a psychological point, how do you handle the trading with your hours and getting a little bit of sleep in there?
Right, right. So I think as forex traders, we have to set our own hours. So you have a lot of traders who like to trade European session or the U.S. session, and even the Asian session, depending on which currency pair or currencies you're trading. So since I like the pound so much, you find most of the meteor moves happen in the European session and the U.S. session. So for me, I'm based out of L.A. I'm on the West Coast time. So prime time for trading for me is about 1:30 1:30 in the morning here till about maybe 8 o'clock a.m. here. So I try to stick my active trading during those times, and then step away from the screens towards the afternoon here, which is right around market close or stock market close around 4 p.m. Eastern. And I won't actively trade at all or take opportunities during the afternoon or during the evening. Now, as a trader, I'm always going to watch price and watch, what price levels we're at. But I have found that my best trading happens during the morning hours, U.S. and European, and more managing or just watching during those, for me, off hours.
When do you sleep?
I try to get to sleep about 8 o'clock my time so that I can wake up around 2:30 in the morning.
It's an
Okay.
early morning. I know
I
sometimes though
try. I'm not the best. I'm a night owl by nature, so it's hard to get to bed that early.
so you just could go if you got to take your sleeping pills or something to get to bed or coffee in
That's
the morning to wake you up.
right, exactly.
What do you like about the pound so much? Why focus on the pound?
I love the liquidity in the pair. I find it moves a lot more. Particularly earlier in my career, it was one of the better movers when you consider all the majors. Also, it moves very technically. So I love my best setups are a Fibonacci move after a breakout or a move in a certain direction. And I find pound to be very technical and really respect support and resistance, really respect the Fibonacci, especially a 50% move, retracement, and then going off, especially when it's trending. you find that it really sticks to his technicals the best. And for me, I like that consistency.
And do you identify a particular area and then you kind of like nibble into a position, or are you just kind of trader that says, hey, I like it at this level. I'm putting my whole lot out there. I'm using a stop and a target. How do you manage your trades?
I'm definitely scaling to positions, particularly because of the way it can retrace. It can and because it's such a great mover, it can certainly overshoot a level or undershoot a level, get front run. So I like to scale in to positions. I'm liking to use stops to try to get to break even as soon as I can. So when the move does move in my favor, about 20 or more pips, I'd like to come to break even fairly quickly. I can also use time. So if I've been in a trade and it's moving sideways for a couple days, after about 3-4 days, you start getting a little bit more defensive and putting in stops, making stops tighter. If we haven't moved, positively, so we'll start to put stops in and make those a little tight off support and resistance. So for me, it's really important that because an early move could kill me. So it's really important for me to, find the levels and really respect the levels so I can keep stops fairly tight. And I mean, fairly tight for me would be like maybe 30 to 50 pips. Is a fairly tight stop, particularly in these markets as the high frequency trading has started to come in more. We're just seeing a lot more. I should say fake outs, and so the stops can't be too tight, or you just can't be too early into your move. You really have to become. I've had to become more and more patient, even as a swing trader and taking entries on trades.
Well, since you brought up high frequency trading, we're going to have to ask you your thoughts on it here in the Forex market, because we talk about it in the equity markets a lot. Do you think it's good or bad for the Forex markets, the high frequency trading?
Do I think what?
Do you think it's good or bad for the Forex markets, the high frequency trading?
I mean, I've seen spreads come down significantly, even in just trading the pound dollar. When I started trading in 2006, the spread on the pound dollar was 5 pips. And now it's reduced down to 1.6. So, there's a lot to be said in reducing costs for traders, especially retail traders, but there's also a lot to be said in how frequently you are trading and how active you are in the markets and when you're in the market. So it's really about, I say for me, it's like getting to know certain currency pairs and not really trading the wide gamut. I find most of the successful traders I follow and myself, we really hone in on just a few pairs. And so a lot of traders, I'm a sterling trader, but a lot of traders will do just the euro pound and the dollar yen, because they tend to kind of move very nicely against the dollar. So I find that high frequency trading does affect the Forex market, but if you are a trader who can kind of hone in, be patient, and understand how your currency pairs trade, that you still be successful in the market.
You see quote stuffing. I mean, I think that's one of the legitimate complaints about HFT in the U.S. markets is the way that the orders are there, they're not there. I mean, I think it'd be a little bit harder to do in the currency market because it's kind of make it, take it. But do you see a lot of noise and not actual trades going on?
Mostly around news. And mostly around like when the markets are thinner. And so thinner markets never really closed, but when the U.S. markets close, and right between, after the U.S. markets close and right before the Australian market opens and Tokyo opens, you'll see the liquidity thin out dramatically, but you get the higher spreads. So you kind of, I wouldn't say we see quote stuffing per se, but you do see a lot more erratic movements when the liquidity is kind of gone, or I should say thinner in the markets.
Well, being a technical trader, I mean, I understand that, but boy, you have to pay it. Like you just mentioned, the news and fundamentals there. So, you if you're trading, these currency pairs, you got to be up on the economic data that's coming out from the countries that you're trading, as well as the United States. Do you tend to lighten up your positions ahead of time, or do you tend to use the news to get out of your positions?
Yeah, so the best way that I use news is as definitely as a catalyst, and a catalyst for entry or exit. The best kind of moves are moves that are set off by fundamentals or by news releases, but they still respect your technical level. So you could see news spike a currency pair, let's say higher, but it's in a bear trend, and so you can get triggered in, and it still respects the Fibonacci, and then it falls lower. So it depends on how well I'm positioned. I don't let news kind of dictate whether I would come out of a position or lighten up. I would allow them just my simple rules for trade management to determine that. But entry, you want to be aware of the calendar and what time new releases are coming. I've been in a situation where this is perfect, and it was 3 minutes before a news release. And needless to say, you get shaken out. And so it's still, you're right, it's absolutely important for Forex traders for us to pay attention to the calendar and kind of base our moves on the underlying fundamentals of the trend. So you can use it as a catalyst to get in or out because you're going to get that knee-jerk reaction. But overall, does the fundamentals still support a bullish or a bearish scenario?
Okay, and
And that's
just
important to
to
know.
wrap things up, just any final advice for people that may be interested in trading the currency market?
I would say get in, find a good broker, based on your trading style, and start with real money as soon as you can. With Forex, the practice platform truly doesn't capture what's happening with your emotions and with your account once you're truly in the market. So I would
Great.
say get into real money as soon as you can,
That is
even if
it.
but not a lot.
Yeah, you could do that. Well, that's great advice, Lydia, because it's right. You could be the greatest paper trader in the world, but once your own
Right.
money's on the line, it's a whole different story. So we've had Lydia Finkley on here. She's a forex trader and author of faithmite.com. Lydia, thanks. It was great talking to you about the currency market, and we hope to have you on again.
Great. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, Lydia.